late for then I said, oh no, I'm late for my meeting. So I went on at like 1 o'clock.
Oh, that text was from one. Okay, I just saw it. Okay, well, I guess we can first before we start though. How did your team do? Did you win, Sandy?
We won a bronze medal. Yes.
Congratulations.
And the team that I managed also won a bronze medal. So
Oh, very good.
I got two bronze medals. Yay.
Yay, Sandy.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
really fun.
All right, so we'll start then. 204. And I know I did this before, but now where did I put my, oh, here it is on the printer. The same question, maybe you have someone else. Name a woman whom you admire and say why you admire her.
I'll start.
Okay.
I'm a life member of the Girl Scouts, and part of that is because I have always admired Juliet Gordon Low. She was born into a wealthy Southern family, but during the Civil War, while her father was in the Confederate Army, they went to live with her mother's family in Chicago, and she saw her grandfather was an interpreter for the Native Americans, and she saw that people were people and people reacted well if you treated them well, and this carried her through her life. She married a man who also had lots of money and split her time between England and the United States. He turned out to be a drunkard and a philanderer, and he had an affair with a married woman and wanted a divorce. And neither the married woman nor she wanted to actually have the divorce. And he managed to die before it happened. And she, against the wishes of all of her friends and her family, contested the will because her husband had left everything to the mistress. And
Oh,
Like, yeah.
she stood up for herself and contested the will against the advice of everyone and won. She got the house in Savannah and she got an annual maintenance, fee, so to speak. And as a result of her being in England, she had met Lord Baden-Powell and learned about the Boy Scouts and said the Girl Scouts could do the same thing and spent her life encouraging women to stand up for themselves and be important. She'd lost the hearing in both ears, one because of an infection, and she had encouraged the doctor to use a brand new treatment, which actually took her hearing out, silver
oh,
nitrate. And then she got a grain of rice caught in her ear during her wedding and
oh.
lost the hearing. It got infected, and she lost her hearing in the other ear. So this served her very well throughout life because whenever anybody said no or I don't want to do it, she'd say, "What? I can't hear you." And
Have to
she
try
got a
that.
lot of people to volunteer that way. But she really is a woman who stood up for herself and who led the way for women's rights. And so she's a woman that I truly admire.
Yeah, well, she's worthy, that's for sure. Okay, well, who's next?
Okay, I'll try. I took part in the Women in History back in last spring, and Eleanor Roosevelt was the woman who I talked about. And she had a very impressive career, overcame a lot of adversities, and partnered with another philandering husband, as it were. But
Mhm.
she had a very impressive career as a widow in the years after Franklin was gone, because Harry Truman put her as part of the US team in the new United Nations, which was formed to try and promote world peace. And so she was very active in that, in the US, in the Europe. And she served there for about 8 years. And then even after she retired from that, she continued doing a lot of traveling and lecturing. She went to Japan in the early 50s, where they were transitioning to democracy, with a view to coaching the women there and how democracy works, because they were coming from an oppressed state, both in their country and in their family structures. So she was able to do a lot to teach them. She saw how issues affected different parts of the world, and she could emphasize with third world countries who could actually see more benefits in the Soviet system back in these early days of the Cold War, because they were closer to where the third world countries were compared with America, which was just happily spending and not necessarily focusing on human rights. But she continued with an active career. She carried on. She finally supported John F. Kennedy after some hesitations. And when the time came for her funeral, there were one active president, two former presidents, lots of politicians. And she ended up being buried very close to FDR up in New York State. So she accomplished a lot. She wasn't a beauty, but she had a beautiful personality. She did a lot for a lot of people. And I would put her as somebody to admire.
Yes, I
And
agree.
I hope we get to do some more women in history, because it was kind of fun, and I've done more digging on information about her and the family.
Okay, great. Sandy, do you want to go next?
Not yet, please.
Okay, Mary?
Yes. I couldn't remember who I said last time we did this, so then I thought, well, they won't remember either if I can't
No.
remember. But the woman I admire is not a great woman. It's not a famous woman. It's a woman I know who was my former boss at Stanford. She was in charge of financial aid at Stanford University. And you may not, in the university world, that's quite a job. People from Princeton, Harvard, yeah, they're all watching to see what Stanford's doing. She had a huge staff. I was just one of her. I only did the scholarship portions. She had people did loan. I mean, she had to deal with angry people. She had, she had a tremendous job. So the story I'm going to tell about her is why I admire her. We used to send out letters. Remember in the old days when letters went out? We used to send out letters, and the letters, when we decided how much financial aid, Stanford covered cost of need. So the letter said, this is the cost of Stanford next year, everything, the tuition, the room and board, your books, and remember, we expect your parents to pay, blah, 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 get different for each family. We expect the student to borrow some small amount, blah, 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 blah. And therefore, we will give you a scholarship of the difference, so that we'd have the cost minus what the parents, minus what the student, and then Stanford will promise to give you the difference. And these thousands of letters were all mailed on the same day to all the incoming freshmen who had applied for financial aid. And one year, the number, and she signed it. She was the head of financial aid at Stanford. One year, they went out and the number was wrong. The cost of attendance was not correct. And she had signed this letter that went to thousands of people. And she was going to have to tell many parents that it was going to be a different number. Now, I've worked a lot of places, and when you have a boss where a big mistake is made, many of them, how do I say this? Try to pawn it off on other people. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me? Blah, blah, blah. No, her attitude was, in front of us all, she said, I made a mistake. I gave the number to the person. I didn't review it correctly. It's my fault. And we'll just do it over again. And she took the whole thing and that was a moment when I admired her. And I admired her before that. But to me, this is a great woman who did what she was supposed to do and took it on herself.
Sounds like it, yeah. Nancy?
Well, I've been trying to think. I'm one of these people that I tend to admire. I don't have a single one, although my mom, who introduced me to AUW, is
Thank
somebody
you.
that I admire.
that's the person you mentioned last time. I remember that.
Right. And so that's why I was going to say that I've thought about women that I admire that have done firsts, like the first woman doctor was Elizabeth Blackwell. Jeanette
Right.
Rankin was the first woman that was elected to Congress. Kamala Harris was the first African American, Asian American woman that actually got to serve at a national party. And just what it takes to stand on the shoulders of everybody that came before you is one thing, but to be the very first to do something, when there isn't anybody before you to stand on the shoulders of, that you are the one who's going to be turning around and reaching back to help others. That kind of stamina and perseverance. It was the same thing with Juliette Lowe. She created something brand new that has impacted girls all around the world. So, Lois Wilson, who was one of the co-founders of Al-Anon and made a difference to the families of alcoholics all over the world. Those are the kind of women that, some of them are well known and some of them are not.
I agree. Well, I'm going to cheat because I have a photo with mine that I want to share with you. Let's see, here it is. Some of you know her, Lily Ledbetter. And
Yes.
I was lucky enough to meet her several times. This was 2011 when we used to have national conventions. And for those of you who don't know about her, or you may have seen the film recently, she was an ordinary woman who was not afraid to fight to get her rights for her salary. And she suffered a lot from that. People gave her the worst jobs and tried to get rid of her, but she kept fighting. And Lisa Matz, who was our then vice president of AAUW National, she would stay with Lisa Matz in Washington, D.C. when she went to before the Supreme Court with her case. And if you haven't read her book, Grace and Grit, it's well worth it. So I really admire her because I don't think I could do that. Be always under the gun, And I remember she was telling a story how they made her, after they were trying to get rid of her when she was questioning the salaries, they made her lift heavy tires and do the worst jobs. And before she'd gotten excellent reviews as a manager, but once she started agitating, they did the worst to her. But she ended up winning the case, but not getting her back salary, if you remember. They said she had to do it within so many days, which was ridiculous because she didn't know.
Yeah.
Who's in that picture with her, Jane?
Me.
Yeah, no, I'm teasing you.
Do I look that different, Mary? 15 years ago, yeah, that was me 15 years ago. With it used to be the old logo for AAUW.
I have a couple of Lily Ledbetter photos. I have one with her and my mom and Carlin MacDonald. If
I
some of
remember
you
her.
remember Carlin.
I remember.
Yes, I
But
do.
one of my favorite Lily Ledbetter stories is that I had helped with her book signing and was telling her that my mom introduced me. And she said, "Oh, I'd love to meet your mom." And that night at the dinner, she's up on the platform and there's this ballroom with, in those days, a lot of women in it. And I feel a tap on my shoulder and she had found me from her seat, come down, came over, tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Is this your mom?" And made a point of coming over to meet and talk to my mother, which I thought was just really gracious.
Yes, she gracious. I'm sorry she died so young. Yeah. Okay, Sandy, you've had all the time now.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I was just trying to get my thoughts together because my brain is out of the loop. actually heard a story when I was on a boat in a river in Ghent in Belgium when I was just there. And it was about a woman named Mary of Ognies. And this woman lived during the 1100s. She actually started a spiritual movement that became a communally rooted, um, like inspiration for women who were unmarried, so that if they didn't have a husband and they wanted to have a life work, like they wanted to have their own business or something like that, they weren't actually allowed to do that unless they were unmarried or widowed. So she had like a unit of these women that became so widespread in Belgium that it was also in Bruges and a few other cities. It became like so atomic, I guess you would say. I don't know what the word was. They actually built their own neighborhoods, and they controlled their own property, their own money, all that sort of thing. And there was a law that was actually put into place there where they could collectively labor and making clothing and textiles and trading and weaving and spinning and making lace, which was actually one of the things that led to Belgium having such a big industry and really known for their lace and the production of all of that. And they were also a lot of women that were nurses and brewers and teachers, and you actually couldn't have any of those trades if you were married. So that whole union became so huge there that it existed in the laws in Belgium until 1958. And that's when it finally changed so that a woman that was married could actually have a job and have her own money and stuff. And my brain almost exploded when the guy said that the law remained in place until 1958. Because I was born in 1957 and I was thinking, holy, crud, Holy Mary of Origines. So I just thought that was someone who was really inspirational to take that whole idea of like a woman's labor union, organize their work, and then really become one of the first, international Belgian textile industry owners and organizers.
Good story. Thank you.
Cool.
Okay, thank you, everybody. And I wrote them down this time so I can remember. All right. The minutes of the last meeting, were there any corrections? Did you say, Sandy, you added
Yes,
the motion that we voted on?
I did, and I added it into the minutes, and I highlighted it so everybody would see it's actually at the very, very end after our adjournment and stuff like that, before the action items of the next one. And it just shows the motion that was made electronically and the second, and then everyone's votes.
Okay, I don't know if anybody else is having trouble, but Sandy's, you're cutting in and out for me, or is that just me?
Sorry.
No, she's there's issues.
I'm having issues.
Yeah, for me anyway.
Yeah, I had a
Okay.
notice that your bandwidth is low.
Yeah.
Mine or hers?
Hers.
Oh, okay.
That's because when we were gone, we disconnected everything and we were reconnecting.
Oh, okay. All right. So are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, we'll just file them as submitted. Okay, this is
Well, there are
Kathleen.
two things regarding the electronic vote that although it never went out so that a reply all could be done officially as an official motion, Jane did reach out to me to see whether I approved, and I did approve. So I'm a little uncomfortable with the formatting of the motion in July. my name doesn't show as approving, and I did. And that's because of the way the whole thing was formatted. And I'm kind of a stickler for those kinds of things. I'm a fan of Robert. And so I would kind of like to see this motion not as an independent document, simply because if future reviews and audits of our minutes, they might not find it here. They might not look for it under May 20th. So,
I am also adding it to these minutes.
well, I think it needs to be its own. There was a special vote, and it needs to be its own minute.
Okay.
That's just because, like I say, we need, as a documentation, we had an electronic meeting to vote on this, and so it needs its own minute.
Okay, sounds
So
good.
on our website, should it say the date that we did the voting
Yes,
and then
Yeah.
special vote? Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that that's cleaner for future reference and review of what our actions were.
And that Kathleen
And
did
that I
vote
voted
yes.
yes.
Okay, and I need to add Kathleen. Okay. I was hoping that you would tell me that in the edit, but we're
I'm
getting
sorry,
edited right
I
now.
just got it and didn't have a chance. It's been a very busy summer for me. I apologize.
It's okay. You're forgiven. But
And
thank you for that. I will take care of that.
and my name's misspelled.
Sorry.
It's NIE. Anyway, okay. Thank you, Kathleen, for letting us know.
I have a
Now,
question.
yes.
The minutes say that the Zoom meeting was called to order at 2, but the business meeting wasn't called to order until 2:55.
Right.
Yes.
So do we explain that the new business with Dr. Mimi was not part of the official business?
That's why, yes, because we
Right.
had her speak first because she's not part of our board at all. So she was reporting to us, and then we went into our board meeting. She left.
So that's not technically new business. That's more like sort of other
Report.
business.
It's a
Right.
report.
It's a
I think it
report.
may be Tech Track Director's report,
Yeah.
something like that for
Yeah.
that titling that section.
Correct. It's not business of the board. It's not new business of the board. It wasn't.
Okay,
we
do you
have-
want me to pull up the
It's all right. I'm pulling up my document here so that I can, I'm making notes so I can make edits.
Do we call it other business or tech directors? And then we start the official business with the president's update on the second page.
Right.
So that would change the timing. I'll have to go back and see if I can still find the video. You didn't delete it.
No,
I
because
The timing doesn't change.
No, the
Just the
timing's
title of that section, instead of new business, is Tech Track Director's Report.
yeah. The timing is
otherwise-
the same.
otherwise we've got almost an hour with no explanation of where the time went.
Yeah. Just put Tech Track Director's Report, and then the board meeting was called to order at 2:55 or whatever it was on there.
And maybe we have another heading before the president's update, which says official business meeting.
Well, my computer's jumping around, so that tells me that other people are trying to access stuff. And so it's not going to sit still. And I'm going to make these changes later when everybody's not trying to get into different spaces.
Okay.
It'd be easier.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
But I'm going to edit that and I'm changing the new business to Tech Track Director's Report. And then I'm just leaving the other one titled what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at
I
the
think that's
top,
fine.
where it says our official business meeting started then, do you want me to add a line in between there that says call the meeting to order? And then do you want me to put in there report from tech track director? Do you want
No,
me?
I think you were right in saying that the Zoom was called to order. The Tech Trek Director's report was not part of our official business meeting. And
Correct.
so I think your timing is correct at the top when the call to
Okay.
order. Just
Well, I
retitle the new business so that it doesn't look like it was part of our business meeting.
got it.
Right.
Just making sure. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Anything else? Now that people are finding.
Okay, Mary, I assume you want me to share your reports.
Yes. And we have the fun part of the meeting now, which is listening to
Yes.
me
Oh
talk.
boy, money.
Here we go. Let's
Here's
start
the,
with the statement of financial position. Whoops, you want a statement of activity? That's all right. Let's start with statement of activity.
oh,
We'll start with
that's,
this one. It doesn't really matter.
okay.
Okay. All right. Notice this is a report that Joanne prepared for us from January through June. And as I rant on every time we have a meeting, that our particular organization is it's very arbitrary because uh things flow, ebb and flow. Some months have a lot, some months have little. We have more action in the summer, we have less in the winter, you know. But anyway, this is the January through June, which I asked her to prepare for us for this meeting. Now you notice there's a negative donation that starts this report, which may alarm you. But what this does, what this shows is when people send us money and we have no idea what it's for, we put it in as a donation this in this category. 4,000. See the number 4,000 on the left. That's the accounting code for it. You think, well, why don't you know what this money is for? You'll be surprised if you were in our position. We get checks from, we don't know if they're donations to Tech Track, if they're, we don't know. Amazing. So apparently, sometime between January and June, money that we didn't know what it was for, we found out what it was for, and we took it out of this 4,000 holding category. And so we negativated it. Is that I just made up that word out of that category because we sent it off somewhere else. The most important part for us probably is the next category that we got $33,620 that we take a percentage, when people send us gifts and so on. And that's how much money that we got from January through June. We only paid PayPal about $40, you can see. It's a real, but how do I say this eloquently? It's a lot of work and annoying for that amount of income, but that's my personal attitude. Other people can take it. So, and then we had $12 interest in the bank. So our revenue for the January through June, this is the administration. Notice they had the beginning of this statement of activity report is from administration. So this is money only for administration, not for scholarships or Tech Track or anything. This is money for us as administrators. So we actually got 33,000, but because we had that 7,000 hanging around in there, the net between the two is 26,000. Now, how much does it cost us for 6 months? We spent $21,000 in accounting. Notice the postage. I bought 160 stamps the other day, and it was well over $100 at the post office. When we do the budget for next year, we'll have to swallow hard and decide how much we're going to put in that line because compared to say 3 or 4 years ago, the postage costs have really zoomed
Way
up.
up. Yeah.
And then the other things the $500 meeting room is the deposit we put down for our meeting in October. And then we have a $2,500 in insurance premiums we have to pay our liability insurance and so on. So the figure of $416, doesn't mean much. But I wanted to point out to you to say, are we making money by administrating? Not really. We got $33,000 in and we spent $25,000 out, we're not, in my opinion, our administrative fees are nicely, sweetly covering our administrative costs. So that's my personal opinion on this report. Any questions about it?
How often is the accounting fee billed?
The accounting and bookkeeping.
Yes.
Well, we pay Joanne every month, and then in the once a year we pay a CPA in Sacramento to do our tax returns. Well, that's 60. That's the line above that. Excuse me, I shouldn't have said that.
Okay.
SPF annual review and tax preparation is blank because we haven't paid her yet this year. So the accounting and bookkeeping, that's what we pay Joanne. We pay her every month.
So
that's
that's for 6 months, the 21,000?
Yeah.
So she gets
Yeah.
42 a year?
Yes. Yeah.
because it was 14,000 through, for 4 months. Okay.
Okay.
Ready for the next one?
Next one. Are you ready? Okay.
Which one do you want? I'll
right.
try to do
Yes.
the right one this time.
That's all right. Let's do projects and scholarships then. Do you have that one?
Project statement of activity, is that it?
Yeah. SPF projects and scholarships statement of activity. Now this is not Tech Track, clearly. It's the projects and scholarships. It's the first 6 months. The scholarships run on a different, what am I trying to say? A different time cycle than Tech Track because they collect the money generally in the winter and they send it out in the summer before the girls go off to college. And it's slightly different. And they don't have the same thing with the branches sending money at a certain time of the year and all that. Now notice in 4100, there's a big negative number there. And I think I talked about this last time. Some of the branches have decided to shut down projects, to disband and do other things, and they transferred their what used to be in projects and scholarships over to Tech Trek as they were saying goodbye. Okay, so this 4100 negative 4100 accounting code negative 26,000 is not something we're going to see often or repeating probably at all. But this year we had a flurry of activity with people, deciding they were going to not do certain things anymore. And so that's why we have a negative. But we got $4,000. I mean, what did I say that? Under the code 4,000, we got $21,505 in new donations for projects and scholarships in the first 6 months. Now they had to pay us $1,075 in admin fees. And then when they make these transfers, we charge them a fee. If they making our bookkeeper take money out of a scholarship and put it in Tech Trek, that's a cost to us. That's time of our bookkeeper. And so we charge them a fee for doing that. And they pay $28 to PayPal. Then the other things are things they had to spend. Campus cost is one of the projects they had to pay a college campus for an event they had on it. They gave out $6,250 in scholarships before the end of June. We had some more in July. And then another thing they did, they had prizes. They called it a prize instead of a scholarship. It was a different project. Anyway, they had this loss. See this big negative loss down at the bottom? Well, that's because we transferred $26,545 out to Tech Trek. We don't transfer money to other charities or anything else. It's still in our under special projects fund, but it's not under projects and scholarships anymore. So it isn't that we really lost 16,000. It was that it was moved over to other things. Does that make sense? Nobody says anything. You've all fallen asleep, or you?
No, it makes sense.
Yes, we understand.
Okay,
I believe I
can't see your
do.
faces. All I can see is the report, so I can't see if you're all still there.
Give us a pop quiz. Just don't give us a pop quiz, Mary. I think I understand, but don't ask me to prove it.
I said yeah. I said yes right away, but I forgot I was muted.
Okay. Okay. What's the next one you want?
Statement of financial position.
Okay, let me find it here. I found it. Okay.
Okay. Now, this is as halfway through our fiscal year. This is our financial position. Um, and it's as of June 30th. We have had so much happening in July, however. I'm going to repeat for the 45th time. We spent one day in July, I mailed 70 checks to people.
Wow.
70. I went to the mailbox.
70.
I mean, it's, $200 for this camp and that camp and the other thing. And also, it's really, I've been transferring money to cover all this a couple times. It's really, you still have to pay Whittier, incidentally, apparently, where they had the camp, $69,000, which we haven't even got. We just are getting the bill now and blah, blah, blah. So, anyway, as of June 30th, which was 100 years ago in my mind, because we're almost at the end of August, that's how much we had in our checking and in our money market. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 and 1, 9 is how much we have invested in our portfolio, and our financial committee talks to the lady in Sacramento every quarter in Wells Fargo about what we're doing with that money. The $205,000, I'll remind you, is money that we have had sitting there a while in a money market that was in our possession when the COVID hit, and they had raised the money for the camps for that year, and then the camps couldn't be held. So it's been sitting there waiting for them to decide if they're going to do something with it. Last year, at the end of the year, they had spent more than they brought in. And so I borrowed, that's not the right word, transferred some money from that account to cover what they were in the hole for. But soon, at the end of by January, they'd gotten more donations. So I put it back. So I used it because they have, in other words, if I hadn't done that, they would have been taking money from other projects to cover their costs, and I wasn't going to have that. So, but anyway, right now it's 205,337, and it has a little interest in it. It hasn't changed for years. The advances, we had some of the camps, they had to pay things down, advance money to people to get equipment. And so on June 30th, somebody had been advanced money that they hadn't actually spent yet. And the 9,510 is one of the camps demanded that when they signed a contract to have it at their campus, that they paid 2 or 3 years deposit at the same time. So that's where the 9,510 comes in. But anyway, you can see that we have a fine amount of money. Our assets are fine, but the next page is more interesting. Okay, we've got current liabilities. We had money that we owed people that she hadn't paid yet. The 603,104, I will repeat, is the money that us folks, we people on the board, this is our money. This is assets this is money we have that is not owned by Tech Trek, not owned by a scholarship, not owned by a project. This is money that is in our power. This is an asset of this organization, 603,104. And then the 1476706 was the value of the Tech Trek and the scholarships, and at the end of June. So any questions about that? Again, this is a little arbitrary until we get the year-end stuff. And we're hoping to have that, well, the year-end from last year, from 2025, we'll have at the board meeting when we meet in October. And we'll see how it all came out. Okay?
Okay.
Really, one more thing to go, which is Tech Trek.
Okay. That's a short one.
Yeah, Joanne doesn't even try. I mean, at the end of June, things were there. I told you, one day I mailed 70 checks, and another day I mailed like 40 or something. I mean, she doesn't need to do a detailed analysis at this point of that. This is the wrong time of year for that. But you can see that things are they've spent more this year, and they brought in more this year, and that's all I can say that this means. Um, and we're watching to see that they what they bring in covers what they send out. But we can't really hold their what's the fingers to the fire or whatever the right expression is until all the bills are paid for the summer camp. So we just don't know, you know, if they've overdone it or not done it or whatever until we get all the bills in. So June 30th statement is a little arbitrary to say the least because so much has happened in July and August that we don't know. And that's an unhelpful report, isn't it? Anyway, that's all I have to say. Any other questions?
I think it's helpful in that it shows us that they, at least at this point in time, are not in the red.
Oh, no.
So
No.
So to me, this is valuable information that as things are going, that they've got money to cover future things
Right. Plus they
or
have the
things that you
200.
may have already paid now that don't reflect here.
Right. And they've then plus they have the $200,000 in reserve sitting there.
Yeah,
If they ever got, and all the time I've been treasurer, I don't think they've ever been in the red. I don't remember
that's
it,
a good thing.
Yeah. Well, when we had our finance committee meeting, that's the next thing on the agenda. Ronnie is our advisor at Tech Track, and she said, "Why are you keeping so much money in the money market?"
Excuse me,
And
Ronnie's our advisor at Wells Fargo. You said
yeah,
she was our advisor
I
at
said
Tech.
that. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Duh. Anyway, Ronnie's a Wells Fargo lady. And she said, "Why are you keeping $500,000 in the money market? And how about Tech Track, the 200 and some thousand?" And I did call Mary Isaac about that. And she said, "I want to get back to you on that," but she never did. And I'm wondering if it's me. I'm very conservative when it comes to other people's money, but do we have any idea what percent we're earning on those, like the money market, Mary, and the Tech Track?
Yeah, it would be in those reports that Ronnie gave us. You start throwing me a curve. I could look it up and send it to all of you. It's money market, whatever the money market is at this point, 4%. I don't know, something, whatever it is.
Well, I think it is
I don't
about
remember
4%, and
4%.
that's all we made on our investments with that we have invested in all those the quilt chart that we see that this company and that company and the way things are with the war and the price of oil. I am tempted, we're earning the same percentage as the investments. And in our March meeting with Ronnie, we were at 0. So I personally think we should leave it alone if we're earning some interest and it's very stable. But I'm wondering Mary, how do you feel about that?
Well, the question for Tech Track is not what they want to do, how they want their money invested. The question for them, maybe that's not what you meant at all, but the question for them is, do they have immediate plans to spend this 205,000 or plans at all?
Yes.
And then if they said, yes, we're going to spend it next year, then we do X investment. They said we may not spend it for 10 years and we would invest, not me, us 6, but the board of who have a different attitude toward how they should invest the money. How long is it going to be there is the only question that Tech Track can answer for us. They have the right to say we're going to spend it. And then we could say, okay, then we'll invest it this way if you're going to spend it in the near future. If you're not, then we'll do something else with it. But yeah,
Right.
Brownie is trying to get us to get more return. And I was a little nervous too at the meeting, Jane, because the stock market, we have made more than 4%. I think we've made 9% on the investments or something like that. But it could go down. And it makes me nervous, maybe as an old lady or something, not to take somebody else's money and risk anything. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't wildly enthusiastic about putting more at a higher
Well, what I
investment. Not
called,
risky. They're not risky investments. We're not investing in,
right. When I
Bitcoin or something.
when I called Mary about it, she said they're going to be spending more because it's what, the 35th anniversary or something, and she wants to buy lots of swag next year. So they are going to spend some of it.
Their swag bills are impressive.
I know.
Mary Morris and me didn't hardly know what swag was. Sorry, I'm not in the know. I got this bill for like $35,000 for swag. I go, okay, I better Google that. I don't even know what they're doing. Not that I had a right to veto it, but I wouldn't know what I was signing a check for. It was like, we're talking about T-shirts and hats and stuff like that.
Well, how about the rest of you? What do you think about investing more of the checking in?
I think with the instability of our economy at this time, it's smart to leave it in something that's more stable. That's my opinion.
I'd minimize the risk as well.
Okay.
Okay. Kathleen, do you have any?
Yeah, to me the only question of what to do with things is, like Mary said, that $205,000 that's sitting there, and only Tech Trek can tell us what the long term, how long they're going to keep it. And if they want access to it, ready access to it, then we should not be investing that in any kind of anything. I think we need to
Yeah.
leave it available. And otherwise, I'm not unhappy with the way our things are distributed and what we've got available and what we've got in long-term investment. So I think kind of status quo. I'm happy with that.
Okay, Nancy, are you there?
I am. I know that our investments, I mean, just so that everybody else who doesn't sit in on the finance meetings knows, I'm not in favor of moving anything from Tech Trek because that's really not our money to decide what to do with. Mary knows that it's there. I mean, we can say, let's invest a little bit of it. For those of you who don't sit in on those, our investment strategy is conservative to moderate. I mean, we are not talking about moving into anything that is aggressive. So even when the market does go down because of the choices that the board has made and the kind of investment strategy that we have, we still do okay. We don't lose a lot of money because that's not our investment strategy. We're making money with a very conservative to moderate strategy. So, I mean, we could move some of the money from the money market, but I'll go along with the majority opinion. I don't really have a strong minority opinion in this circumstance.
Well, it sounds like status quo for us.
Jane, and the October meeting when we meet, I'm going to bring copies of what Ronnie is, the reports that some of the reports Ronnie gives us from the last thing, showing the percentage that we get from our investments, how much is earned since they started invest. When I'm talking about, so she gives us.
Yes.
I'm going to bring
Yes.
some of those and share them. I think if that's all right with you.
Oh,
And
sure. I
we
think
can
that's a
show
good
them.
idea.
Yeah, we'll show them what
They can see what, and we've learned a lot from those meetings, I think. I know
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
Okay, so that status quo, and then as far as our tasks, one thing I can go over mine, but don't forget. Well, we'll talk about the meeting, the October meeting in a minute. I did talk to AAUW California, and they were supposed to get back to me after July 1st about the PO box. So I need to contact the new presidents. I think, they were getting used to their jobs, so we want to see if they should be paid more, but we share the storage, so I might be kind of even. So I'm going to write that down for myself to contact AAW California again about the PO box.
I want to say something about the storage, but Joanne and I both have reams of paper that people have sent us. I have invoices. I live in a one-bedroom apartment. It's getting to look like the Mardi Gras. I mean, I've got invoices. Every one of those checks have boxes, and I know there's storage somewhere. I have no idea where it is. Uh, um, our former president from years ago used to drive this stuff over and put it in some storage unit somewhere, and I don't know where it is, and I'm not going to drive to Sacramento and put these pieces about. So somebody's going to have to decide how to handle that whole mess, and we can talk about it in October. And Joanne is just overwhelmed with pieces of paper, and she doesn't know which ones to keep and how long to keep them, and which ones she can, and some of the stuff she has is duplicate of what I've got, and blah blah blah. So the whole issue of storage is one I'd like to put on the agenda for the next
Okay,
event.
storage question,
Got to
October
get it out of
meeting.
my apartment. I'll know. I'll just pack it up and send it off to Enid. She can have it in her place.
No, no,
Who,
I
who
will
would
not.
I got some from the last treasurer that I still have.
Yeah,
would
I've
we
got,
need to ask our accountant what documents we need to keep and which ones we
Yeah,
can
we
purge?
need to ask the lady in Sacramento who's doing our report. Yes, I agree. And then we have to
okay.
decide which of our, she'll tell us X, and we have to decide which of our papers match her description of X.
I
Yeah.
think you always have to keep the minutes. Is that right, Kathleen?
Minutes are kept forever, financials for 7 years.
Yeah.
But what financials means is the question. Do we have to keep
Financials
every
are
little piece?
essentially tax returns and documentation that back up the tax returns.
Yeah. So the
That's
question is, with Mary Morrison's simple mind, if someone's paid $200 to be a camp counselor, do we have to keep that piece of paper for 7 years? See,
Yeah.
that's where we
yeah,
need some
see,
direction.
you may have to, it depends on what our tax, what our tax preparer uses as their backup documentation for the taxes. And if they list and summarize everybody's salaries that we paid out, then that needs to be kept.
Yeah.
The W-9s or the whatevers, because that's the supporting documentation for the tax report.
Incidentally, I don't know if this is really a nerd thing. The W-9 rules have changed, and we don't have to do them unless we pay people $2,000 or more now,
Ooh,
That's the
which is changed.
W-2s, not the
No,
W-9s.
W-9. We don't have any W-2s at all. We don't have any employees.
Oh,
So,
so wouldn't they be 1099s then?
well, people have to fill out W-9s
Okay,
to
when they
get their
start. And then,
stipends, stuff like
and
that.
then for the tax year, they get a 1099.
That's
Okay.
right. Yes. Anyway, that changed just this year. So
that's interesting.
For 2000, huh?
2026.
So,
I mean,
is someone
$2,000.
are you going to ask our accountant so that we can
Yes.
have clarification?
Yes.
Okay. Do you
Then,
need us to caravan to your home and help you sort through documents?
you want to come drive to Sunnyvale and come back?
Well, I can
Also,
hop over from Berkeley sometime when I'm.
wait, Joanne is right down there in Southern California than most of you. So maybe, anyway, I don't know, it'd be silly, but we have to figure out what we have to keep and how we're going to keep it and where this secret storage
Yes.
is.
Well, Julica knows where it is.
Well, I've been there once. If it's the same place, I've been there a couple times back in the day when I was president. But it seems to me that what we really need is from the person who does our tax preparation.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
need them to give us specifics about what documentation that supports her preparation that we need to keep. Because everything else we need, and that tax preparation and supporting documentation, we only need to keep for 7 years unless they've changed the IRS rule on
Yeah,
that too.
and I don't know how long it's been since somebody looked to see how old the stuff was that's there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting us off track, but anyway, this is an issue that
Yeah,
Okay,
so that's good
I know,
information
but
to
this
have for
place that
October.
the place where the storage is at sounds like the lost city of Atlantis or something.
Pretty much.
no, it's probably a perfectly. Nobody's just ever told me where it was. I never had to deal with it. I didn't know.
No, I've never been there either, but I know that Julika knows because she knows
Julica,
everything.
if anything happens to Julica, we're all dead meat. I want to tell you right now.
Yes, she's the
Yeah.
best.
Yep.
Okay, then we had the whole to-do about the tech trek. I don't know if was everybody in on that. We Tech Trek had an email from National saying you need to fill out that report that all the branches had to fill out for financials, and we said no, they don't have to because they don't have their own EIN.
Right.
And I sent it in for SPF, and they said yes, you still have to do it. So finally, I called Angie Cooper because she is also the best, and I explained it all to her. I said, tie the two together. All the financial information is in what I sent you, which is what Mary sent me, was the tax return. And she said, well, if we have any problems, we will contact you. And they haven't. So I'm hoping that that was enough for the affiliate annual report. Okay, so that was that action item. And what else did I have? Those are the main ones. Okay, anybody else want to do a report?
I'll do mine. I did the website corrections. I corrected Mary Morrison's branch affiliate to Silicon Valley. Posted all the minutes from 2023, 2024, and put them all in chronological order. Sent the meeting minutes or transcripts to everybody to review and edit, but we did the edits today, so it didn't matter. And then created a shared document that included the committee members. So originally I had done a document that was Aauw SPF board full roster. If you go to the second page of the roster, it shows everyone's committees that they were assigned to.
Okay.
So that we don't have to keep going back to those February minutes to look to see what committees you're on or whatever. And everyone has that link shared. And I will put it again in the new minutes with the link so that all you have to do is click on it to go to it if you want.
Alrighty, thank you.
Oh, and I did talk to 2 people about possibly wanting to be on the board, but they haven't gotten back to me. So,
Okay. Thank you.
So mine said send revised policies and procedures for projects and scholarships to all current project and scholarship clients after receiving updated documents from Kathleen. But sending updated documents to Nancy was not on Kathleen's list of to-dos.
Well, we didn't make any change. The updated documents were what we approved at the meeting. And so as I sent them, they are updated. And I think you got them at that point. You're right, it wasn't on my to-do list and I didn't send them additionally, but I can if you want me to.
Well, it was just sort of like I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be getting something else. So I
Okay.
haven't sent anything off to anybody. If the items on not the forms, but it's on our the policies and procedures for projects and scholarships that's on our board page.
Mhm.
I can send those. Are those
Yes,
also, Sandra, are those also sitting someplace on our open web page, not behind our board?
yeah,
The
yes,
policies and procedures for projects and scholarships?
yes.
And where are those sitting so that Um, let me see if I can find them.
Isn't there a tab?
Never changed any tabs or anything. I only added new documents. And
Right, and you did update.
Nancy gave me, I mean, sorry, Kathleen gave me the new updated website registration for project stuff, and I updated those.
No, I'm asking on behind the board login. There is the protected board login page that lists the policies and procedures for scholarships at projects and scholarships. We also want that available for branches, so it needs to be someplace that's not behind the board login.
It is, I think.
That's what I'm trying to find out is where is it? I don't see it on the AEW California Projects and Scholarships page, and I don't see it on the forms page. So I wasn't sure where else to go and look. Because on the board login page, it says policies and procedures for projects and scholarships. And right below that, it says policies and procedures for the SPF board. And I don't have access to that. When I click on that, it's telling me that I need to request access, which I will do as a viewer, but I don't know why I don't have access to the board policies and procedures. But the policies and procedures for projects and scholarships, we want branches to be able to see that.
Okay, so I understand that. Can we go back? Can we digress for a second? Because you're getting me really confused. So you can't access looking at what, and are you logged in as a board member when you're trying to access it?
I am currently logged in right now as a board member, and I'm looking at the page that says protected board login. And the list on the page says bylaws, list of current branch states, projects and scholarships, minutes, policies and procedures for projects and scholarships, policies and procedures for the SPF board, and president's annual report and web manager's log. I cannot log into policies and procedures for the SPF board. It's telling me I don't have access. But that's a separate point, and I'm sorry I confused you. My point was the policies and procedures for projects and scholarships need to be available to the branches. And I don't see them. I only can find them in the protected board login page. I can't find them
so you do
available for branches.
So you do see list of current branch state projects and scholarships. But when you click on it, because you keep going back and forth to different things, I can't.
Okay, well, let me talk about the one thing that's on my action item list. The item on my action item list is to send the policies and procedures to all current project and scholarship clients. Okay, I can do that because I have access to the board login page. But branches should be able to go to our website and pull up the policies and procedures for projects and scholarships. And the only place I can find it is behind our board login. They don't have that. Branches can't log in there.
So these two completely separate animals. So you're first talking about, I'm sorry, everybody has to be involved in this. The list of current branches, state projects, and scholarships. When you go to that and you click on it, it says for you that you have to have special permission.
Yep. I just tried it too.
No.
I don't have access to it either.
No. That's
because there's a thing that says click here to view the roster. If you click that,
it's telling me I need access.
Yep.
You need access to the client list once you click that.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. I thought I used to have that also. Yeah, it says click here. I click here and I get you need access for Google Sheets.
Okay.
Now, so, when I click,
don't go nowhere. Don't go anywhere yet.
Okay.
Please. please. I'm trying to, I
I
got
know,
it.
but that's not the question I had originally had, but I
Right.
will do it in the order that you want it done in. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just trying to sort everything one at a time. So client list is loaded for me. I'm not logged in as any special like manager or anything like that. So I should be able to open the share button and share that with you or anyone that has the link. So I'm working on trying to do that right now. All right. It is not letting me do that right now. So what I'm going to do is make myself a note, and I will go back to this, and I will make sure that this is shared with all of our board members. Then there will be an option for you to share it with anyone who has the link. So that means you could copy the link and share it with the branches. Is that what you want? Or does it need to just be available to the public?
Both.
The
I'd say both.
policies and procedures for projects and
No,
scholarships,
not talking about policies and procedures.
not the list of
about-
clients. The list of clients is strictly for the board.
Okay, so that's just
Okay.
board. Okay,
The list of clients is strictly for the board.
all right, I will make that strictly for the board. So now we're going back to the website. I'm logging out of there as a board member.
No, don't log out as a board member.
Why? I need to go out as a board member to figure out why people can't publicly see the
Okay.
policies and
Okay.
procedures. Don't I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I'm understanding, that she's Nancy's saying that anybody should be able to look up the policies and procedures for projects and scholarships.
Correct. And if I'm logged in as a board member, I'm never going to be able to figure
Right.
out what is going on, why we can't access
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Do you understand what
I understand. I'm just saying I was not able to find it. I'm just trying to address my little action item here. I can find it behind the screen, and but I can't find it anyplace else. It's easier if I send them an email and say, here's the link, this is where the information is for you.
Correct.
So that's,
I understand that.
yeah. Okay.
All right. Well,
So-
I'll do some homework and I'll send everybody info.
The other thing I'm trying to find out, that since I've got you, there is on the forms page a contact. Let's see now, where is it? Oh, shoot. I just closed the wrong page. On the forms page, there's a contact information change form that says that it goes to spf-california.finance and spf-ca.projects.scholarships. And Mary and I were talking about emailing recently about this, that somebody had said that they had sent in a contact change form and neither one of us got it. Now, Mary, don't you receive the finance emails?
Yes, but we don't know exactly where they sent it, I don't think.
Well, but on the website, it says you fill out the form and you hit submit and it says this is where it goes.
Well, the
To
last
the finance
time
email?
I sent out the form to everyone, the last time I made all the changes to all of the emails with everyone's emails and contact information in there to make sure
And
that was correct.
And I got that.
A bazillion hours doing that with
Linda.
Ms. Slater, yes. And I never
I got your test.
Okay.
I got your test, but Mary and I both recently, somebody said, did you get my form? And so I don't know if there's a problem with the submit form. I
I,
have no idea.
nor do we know,
So,
Nancy, exactly where she
let's
sent it.
digress
That's not
back to the
Well,
original.
she doesn't send it anywhere, Mary. When you hit submit, it just says this is where it goes.
okay. All right. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
I don't know either.
Okay.
Okay.
What form are you talking about?
Contact information change form.
All right, thank you. So when they filled it out, do we know what address they sent it to or who they sent it to?
I haven't looked at it, Sandra. I don't know what it says. Does it say on the bottom of the form where they should send it? I'm sorry,
All
I
it
haven't looked
says
myself.
is submit. You fill out the form online, it says submit. At the top, it says an email copy will be forwarded to spf-ca.finance and spf-ca.projects.scholarships.
And that
So
has never changed. Those
Oh,
emails have not changed because those
oh,
were all original emails. So we didn't go in and make changes to those because they were still the same people.
I
Now,
know.
if down lower, for some reason, I don't know, when they submitted it, I'll do a test and see if I can send out a test form and see if you guys receive it. And I'll also go into the manager's area for the website and make sure that the email addresses are the same so that you should be receiving those.
Yeah, it's this time of year, because I start sending out reports and I start getting emails back because I send the reports out from my email. It's just easier because I don't really, you know. And so
Mhm.
I send it out, and so they respond directly to me and say, "Hi, I'm the new treasurer," or "Hi, I'm the new scholarship chair," or "Hi." And it's like, "Okay, would you?" And I reply back and I give them the link and say, "Please fill this information change form out because we want documentation that we've made a change." And then we can then update our list of clients.
Correct.
But somebody wrote to me and said, "Did you get my form?" And I was like, "I didn't get the form." "Mary, did you get the form?" And Mary says, "No." Like,
well,
okay, I don't know where the form's going.
Sandy's going to check. Sandy's going to test to
Yeah,
see if.
Sandy's gonna check. So
Good
that was
check.
the other thing I had to come up. So
Okay,
Okay, and just know that you don't have to wait for the board meeting to ask me those questions because it
I
could be
know.
something I could solve for you right away. Um, if you just let me know.
Yeah, it just came up recently, so I thought, and I have been busy too, like we all are, and I thought about it like 2 days ago and went, okay, I got to send Sandy that email, and we. The other thing is if you could check to see if you could find, I'm logged out and I still can't find the policies and procedures anywhere for the branch uh, projects and scholarships, but I do see the client list. So I guess there is a list, but it doesn't have a lot of information. It's not our same list. And that's fine.
So it's the new list that I was sent. Like all I did.
Well, the one, if you're not logged in, it just says California branch projects
Oh,
and
you mean for
scholarships.
the public? Yes.
Yeah, that's just a basic list. The other one that we have behind our login has the addresses and the names and the phone numbers and all of that. So that's good, but I don't see on here. I see requirements and eligibility, but I don't see the policies and procedures.
Okay.
okay, Sandy's gonna look into that. All right. Um, I don't know where Diane is. She was gonna talk about the nominating committee and she said she had somebody who might want to serve on the board. And Nancy, didn't you say you had somebody?
I don't,
I think
I,
that was Sandra.
I think that was Sandra.
Sandra
No,
said she talked to a couple of people.
when we met with the finance committee, I mentioned it and you
Oh, I
said,
said I had somebody in my board on my branch that I was thinking I might ask, and she has not been available. So I will follow up with her.
yeah, that's what I was thinking of at our finance committee meeting, not Sandy. Sandy is not, I
Okay.
hope it's not someone from our branch because we're already three of us here.
No, it was actually two ladies that I know from the Poway Penasquitos group.
Oh, okay, but maybe we need some northern people too.
Yeah, yeah, different blood.
Yeah, people from up north or in the middle.
Mhm.
So we do need you. We're very sad that Mary's leaving us, but we do need a seventh person. And Mary, I hope you'll be our consultant because you have a lot of information for us if we have questions.
Do you want me to report on my task that I had in the last?
Oh, did you have one? Sure.
Yeah, it had to do with unclaimed property.
Oh, yeah.
And what happened in the meantime is that I educated myself and I took a mini course, well, a webinar given by the state on unclaimed property and learned a whole lot. Well, I started with zero, so it was easy for me to learn a whole lot about what we had to do with unclaimed property. And we don't, in fact, and I learned about a whole series. You send in a paper, and then they send you a paper to fill out, blah, 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 back and forth. I won't go into it. It took an hour and a half. It's a webinar. But basically, because the unclaimed property we have, that says people who we sent checks to who never cashed them. Okay, it's basically what we're talking about here. Those people, it's not salary. If it were salary, we'd have to act within a year of their stale dated check. But because, according to this webinar, because it's not, we can't even put the thing in for 3 years. I'm sure that companies got this done so that they wouldn't have to pay people money they owe them. Pardon me, this is Mary's cynical remarks, not helpful. Anyway, so the first one we have is not up. The 3 years are not up in my term, so Enid will have to deal with it because we can't send them a notice that we have this unclaimed property until 2027, I believe it is, or maybe 28. I have to look it up. And then we have a year. We have to notify her and send this special letter to her, and then she has to send it back. And so, meanwhile, Joanne and I have been talking. Joanne is also going to take the webinar, and we're going to take this money that has never been cashed from 2 years ago now, or 1 year, a year and a half, and we're going to put it in on our accounting system as a liability because it is. It's a money we owe somebody else. That's the term of liability. And so Joanne and I have learned that much so far. So by the time we have another report, probably that modest amount will show up as a liability and not as just a plain old uncast check, which is where it is now. But I've been determined to get this cleared up. Obviously, not ineffectually. I've been determined to get this cleared up. And I'm the treasurer because we have to have a valid way of handling money. It isn't just one person that's not going to get. This is going to continue because we're sending checks out and things are coming back and canceled and blah 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 blah. We have to have as an organization a way of handling it according to the law when people do not receive the money we send them, and which turns into unclaimed property eventually. But it's an elaborate process, and I learned quite a lot by going to that webinar. Well, it was a webinar. I didn't have to go anywhere about the timing of it and so forth. But because it's not salary, we have quite a length of time to deal with it. End of report.
Thank you. Any more reports? And that's my phone saying there's a fire.
Oh dear.
Mm.
Dehesa. Okay, well, October questions for the October in-person meeting. When you can send this to me, when are you arriving? What activity?
I suffered for another severe bout of helium hand syndrome and have agreed to a task with my church will occupy me on the second Tuesday of every month, which in October is the 13th. So I will probably not be there for the evening gathering on the 13th, but will, um, depending on my thoughts, I'm thinking now that I will drive, as I was looking at my calendar, I was thinking I would drive down after the evening meeting and be there 11 or 12 at night and be there for the Wednesday morning. To me, that's better than trying to drive in the morning to be there for your meeting. So I will be there on Wednesday. I don't have any conflicts for that day, but the Tuesday evening I have a conflict.
Okay, well, you better be, because that's why we picked those dates,
I
Kathleen.
know.
For
Get that
you.
helium hand heliumed.
Yeah, I need to learn how to do that. But yeah, no, I agree. I thank you for moving them into the middle of the month like that for me. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, but I will be there on the Wednesday. I don't have a conflict for that. It's just I'll miss the dinner and the fun time on Tuesday.
Okay. And then whether you're staying 1 or 2 nights.
I probably will stay 2 nights. I won't drive back until Thursday morning.
Yeah, you can all send that to me.
Yeah.
And meals again, we meet on the Tuesday for dinner together. We went last year, we went to the Brigantine. We can go there again, unless you have a preference for somewhere else.
What time is dinner?
Oh gosh. Well,
I need to calculate for flights.
I can't remember what time, if we met at 6 or 6:30 last year. I'm not sure. Well, what would people like? Do you have a preference, 6 or 6:30?
I'm just trying to figure it out for flights.
Yeah. Mary,
Yes.
are you coming in early to see your
Well,
sister?
I'll come in sometime in the afternoon. I don't really care. Oh, if it's at 6 or 6:30. I mean, I'll probably come in at 3 or 4, you know.
Okay, well, I'll say 6:30. And we can meet in the lobby, like we did last time, about 10 after 6. Those who want to can walk, and then I can drive people who don't want to walk.
Which brigantine?
The one in Point Loma by the hotel.
Okay, because I'm thinking La Mesa, that's not walking distance. Coronado, that's not walking.
No, it's walking distance from the Bay Club. And I'll
Okay.
send you the address and everything.
I
The
know
Bay,
it.
yeah. So the Bay Club and
Well,
then
hang on, the Bay Club is on,
Shelter Island.
it's all Shelter Island. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Brigantine's right at the entrance of Shelter Island.
Mhm.
And did you say that there's a shuttle?
No, they used to have a shuttle, and I believe people found out last year that no, they don't have a shuttle.
Yeah, and
You
I
have-
wasn't able to come last year, so
Yeah, I remember Diane took a Lyft or Uber, and Mary took a taxi. I remember that part.
I walked. I remember walking.
I mean, from the airport.
Oh, from the airport. No, I
Yeah.
drove to the hotel.
Right, you drove.
And I will drive again this time, but miss Tuesday evening.
Okay, and what activities or training would you like at the meeting? So I'd like you to send that to me. And then last year I looked up the agenda. We had breakfast at 8 a.m., I believe, or 8:30. We'll look at it again. And then we started the meeting around 9. And then Mary Isaac came for lunch. And also I invited Joanne again. Our bookkeeper is going to be there. Mary Isaac is going to give a report again in the afternoon. So what else? Be thinking about what else we should be putting on the agenda, because we'll have the day and we don't want to waste our time.
Can we also list like what offices are going to be vacant? So that we know when we're trying to nominate people or get people interested, that we know what
Well,
positions
I
are going to be available.
I was going to ask Kathleen and Diane, I hope that you are going to continue for another term, because they're 2-year terms.
Well,
Yeah,
Diane's not here.
I'm
so
vacillating, but I'm leaning toward yes.
Okay,
that helium hand again
Yeah,
on it.
it's a scourge.
And I guess Diane says yes because she's not here.
yeah, well, I think she does, and I will be willing to serve as president again unless somebody else would like to take over.
Well, this is, you still have,
Food's ready whenever.
you are still just 1 year into your 2-year term, aren't you?
No, this is second year.
This is your second year?
Yeah, don't you remember?
So this must be, did we get elected at the same time?
Well, I started out I was
you,
not the president the first year, but you and I joined the board at the same time. But then my second year, I became president, so that's 2-year term. And I can serve 2 more years as president.
Sounds good to me.
One thing we have to do at the meeting in October is officially vote on our officers, because that has to be on our tax returns, and our auditor always wants an official statement from the secretary of the board saying who the officers will be.
Yeah.
And we
Um,
also need that for the bank in the minutes in
Yeah.
October,
That's
because
great.
Mary and I
Yeah.
went through that when I had to be put on as a signer. Enid will have to be a signer, on the account, and they said, please also put the names of people going off as signers. So you will put Mary Morrison as of January 1st will no longer be a signer on the account, and Enid
Yeah.
Farrell will be, and Jane Niemeyer will continue. So
yeah, because I started on the board in 2024. And so I served 2024 and 2025, and then I was elected.
It's a calendar year. It's not 24, 20. It's 24, 25, 26. Me too, but I've only been president 25 and 26.
Yeah, I started in January of 2024.
Right. So it's 24.
So I did 2024 and 2025 was my first term. And
No, don't
2026
say-
and
Yes,
2027 was
and
my
she
second
said it
term.
right, Jane. 2024 and 2025 were her first term. Those 2 years were her first term.
Okay. It's because
And-
it was listed incorrectly before. It would say your term was 24, 25 and 25, 26. So yes.
Yeah, 2024 and 2025. And I know that because the first year I was like the training assistant treasurer. And then I took it over 2025. And then I got reelected last fall. And so my second term is 2026 and 2027.
Right.
Okay.
But mine changed because I took over as president from Susan Negretti. Same with Sandy. Sandy's term would be over, but she took over as secretary, so that extended her for a year. Yeah. Okay, so any other business? Oh, new business? If not, you sending me your ideas for the meeting and your arrival and departure and all that.
Okay.
And I'll see you in October.
Here's my medal.
All right.
Ooh,
So I could show you guys.
Congratulations.
that's
Yeah.
lovely.
I'm super excited because I'm going to a tournament in Italy at the end of October, and it will be my last women's 65 tournament because I'm signed up for the Netherlands tournament next year, and I will be in the over 70s bracket. Woo!
I'm curious how many teams take the field in the 65 and then in the over 70.
In our women's 65, we had 14 teams
Wow.
that have 16 players on each team representing an abundance of countries. So we had Belgium, England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands. We had India, Malaysia, New Zealand, Australia, Japan, Taiwan, and then we had some club teams. And I belong to a club team so that the women on my team are from 9 different countries.
Wow.
So we're like an international thing called Alliance.
All right.
Oh, very cool.
It's really fun.
I think that's great.
Super fun.
I almost put the woman I admire this time is Sandy Martinez for all the stuff that you do.
It's just so fun. You know, why
Yeah,
not? Get busy living or get busy dying. So
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
trying to do it. Yeah.
I have to admit, I am envious. When I was 19, I was in a car accident and broke 8 bones in my right foot. So running is not something that I do and haven't been able to do in many decades. So I'm like, running, that's very impressive to me.
Yeah.
All I could say is the miracles of medicine have replaced both of my knees and allowed me to still run almost as fast as I used to be able to. Well, in my brain, I think that, but you know.
Yeah, they can't, unfortunately, they haven't done a bionic foot yet.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
Yeah.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you. And
Thank
don't forget your tasks this time. Thanks for
Right.
attending.
Nancy,
Thank you.
I will work on that stuff and I will send you the links and that sort of
The
thing
test.
so you can take care of your part of the job.
Thanks very much. Because
Okay.
I have the contact list at my end that I update with, when people tell me, and then I always tell them, send in a contact form.
Right.
But I don't ever get the copy of it. And then you did the test and I got the test email and I went, oh good, I'm going to start getting these things.
Although what I was thinking is on that contact list, the link for the email may not be the same. It may not be linked the same. So I'm going to go in and check that and then make those corrections. And then I will also make sure that I get the special projects fund policies and procedures linked into their little tab so that when they click on that, they have it as an option to go.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Okay.